We are live coming at you with session 70 of our Drown Gods campaign. We're going to get started as always. Everyone, please reset your hero point pools to 1, except for those of you who have special birthday points. Keep your extra until you use it. Because I don't think you've used it yet, right, Molly?
That's correct.
Cool. So make sure you keep a hold of that. I've also decided, just to make it extra special, your birthday hero point not only will allow you to re-roll something, you get to re-roll it twice and take the better of the two.
Oh.
So
nice.
Spicy.
Yeah, make those birthday points extra special. Alrighty. Yeah, and I forgot to ask beforehand, but do we have Akalupu notes today, Anna?
Yes, we do.
Sweet. All right, let's go ahead and kick off with those then.
Sound like so fed up about it.
Oh, no, I was just readjusting the small one. At night, we are woken up by a loud scream from Manawanui. We come in and she is passed out with blood coming from her eyes. There is a bad book in the room. We move her away from the book, but no change. Nothing we can do helps. We all get what sleep we can and wake up in the morning. Still no wind. We continue to go east. Manawanui has not changed. By evening, Manawanui begins to stir and calls for Junior. I stay by her side and feed her stoop. Delphine turns out to control fire and ice. And that's it.
All right. Sweet. Yeah, so that's definitely got a good chunk of it, but who wants to give the recap for an extra hero point today?
I can. I'll try.
All right, go for it. So last time we started out with you guys continuing your journey east, the day after you had found Midnight as a stowaway. And I believe we picked up in the evening.
Yeah, and what Akalupu doesn't know, or Akalupu Jr., I should say, is like that Manawanui tried to talk to Topple, who kind of went all dark god, as like dark gods are wont to do, on him, and kind of trapped him in the scary nightmare realm where he was trying to get some answers. I guess I should say she was trying to get some answers. And we're not really sure how to get her out, but I've been thinking about it. I'm excited to get her out of there. And then, yeah, like Junior said, we were trying to make her feel better, trying to nurse her back to health, but it wasn't working. I discovered that we have veered to the south, so we have a better idea of where we actually are in space, which is good.
Yep.
And specifically after Delphine, turned out to be a kineticist, we invited her to continue to quest with us if she wants to, and she said that she would think about it. So, and that's all that I've got. Oh, and Gur made an appearance, right?
Yeah, I think Gur finally got a cameo where he threw something overboard. Nobody knows what, but I don't think anyone cares. There are bigger things going on at this point.
And Delphine also introduced us, or I think maybe just Ip, to her little blobby guy.
Yeah, Bubbles.
Bubble. Yeah, that wasn't in my notes, but it should have been. Anyway.
Yeah, all right, that's pretty good. That's got most of it. But yeah, Manawanui, and go ahead and give yourself the hero point. But yeah, Manawanui did go to visit Topple because the condition of her finger is continuing to worsen and is starting to spread across her hand. Now she has the entire pointer finger on her left hand, and part of the palm of her hand is starting to go fully skeletal, and it's spreading further across the hand. And so she did visit Topple and was asking about the condition and ways to deal with it. And Topple revealed that the dark arts that she was pursuing require a sacrifice. And, Manawanui being Manawanui was like, but do I have to make the sacrifice? And Topple did reveal that indeed, if she can find some sort of a suitable scapegoat, it is possible for her to push that sacrifice off onto someone else. And then, then there was the whole thing of Topple saying, "Do you want to see my realm?" And Mono Nui be like, "Yes, this sounds great." And yeah, it did not go the greatest for her. But we'll see. If she ever returns to the world of the living, whether or not the knowledge she has gained was worth the price. Let's see, was there anything else important? We brought up Bubbles showing up. Dolphine and Ip spent some time learning how to read Manawa Nui's little picture scrolls that she had given to him, and actually made some decent progress and are starting to kind of figure it out. Let's see, was there anything else? I think that is about it for important bits. So we will continue. We left off in the morning. A full day has passed since Manawa Nui was found unconscious. She does seem to be potentially improving. She's stirred a little bit and even said a few words. She's called Junior's name and also said darkness and a couple of other things. But it does seem that her condition is improving. Junior, you're probably have you been basically not sleeping, just watching her this entire time?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, probably dozed off a few times, but not for very long.
Yeah. So go ahead and give me a fortitude check. Let's see how well you're handling that lack of sleep.
Any time now here at lab.
Do you want me to try and roll it for you?
Oh, it's reloading.
Yeah, you do not want me to roll it for you. You've got a plus 12 to your fortitude save, but I still only got a 14. So you do not want me to roll that for you.
21.
Nice. All right. So you're definitely exhausted. Your eyes are starting to sting a little bit. And it would be very visibly obvious to anyone looking at you that you are dealing with a pretty severe lack of sleep. But given your physical and mental fortitude, you are able to push through regardless.
Nice.
And yeah, so the night before, Ip, you and Dolphine were working on the book while you, kept watch and steered the ship and everything overnight. So that would have been the first watch. I assume you went back to sleep after that, or were you so excited that you ended up staying up all night working on reading? Because Dolphine doesn't need to sleep and will not pick up on you needing to sleep either. So will happily end up staying up all night.
No, I get sleepy.
All right. So eventually you have to explain to Dolphine that you need to go and get some sleep. She looks a little disappointed, but yeah.
So I'm also gonna ask Dolphine, do other people where you're from not sleep? Because out of character, it doesn't seem like that has anything to do with her being a kineticist.
Yeah. Do you want to have asked her that last night, or do you want to wait and talk to her at some point during the day?
I would ask her right before I go to sleep. Okay. I'm going to sleep. What's up with you?
Yeah. Well, so a lot of the people who live where I come from don't sleep, but not all of them.
So some people do sleep?
Yeah.
Are they the same as you? Are they different in some particular way?
Yeah, they're different. There's a lot of different people where I live. It's melting pot is a little bit of an anachronistic term to use, but whatever the equivalent of that is. It's a real melting pot there. It's, well, do you have bazaars or shopping areas where lots of vendors show up in one place to sell their wares?
No.
Well, that's kind of like what the city I'm from is like. This, huge like festival nonstop all year with tents everywhere and vendors bringing wares and goods from all around, and all these different people come together in one place.
I guess we're kind of a melting pot too. I mean, we pick up new kinds of people from all the different islands that we visit on our adventures, like unicorns and humans.
Exciting. What are unicorns? I don't think I've ever seen one before.
Oh, that's right. I've always been in my human form around you.
You're not a human?
I'm a unicorn.
Wow, what makes you different from a human then? You seem like everyone else on the ship.
Watch this.
It's like, finally, I have some surprises too. All right, so you find a space large enough for your bulk, and you shift into your unicorn form, which is a pretty rapid transformation. You're more comfortable in your in your unicorn form. You're more comfortable in that form anyway, so it's easier to go from human to unicorn than unicorn to human. And would you like to describe your glorious self? As the wind from the ship's movement is blowing your mane majestically.
Yeah, I like to think that there's a divine glow behind me as my mane is blowing in the wind. My golden horn, kind of like slowly extends from my forehead. And I do one of those classic, like, horsey neigh and shake my head kind of movements.
Do you like rear up on your hind legs like hi-ho silver away?
Like what?
Hi-ho silver away?
I don't know that.
You don't know the Lone Ranger?
No.
All right. Well, that's a thing from the Lone Ranger.
On you, Jason.
That's on me.
Yeah.
I'm uncultured.
Yeah, Thomas is here making a pop culture reference, and you're failing.
I know, that's such a strange experience for me because it's almost always the other way around.
Totally.
Yeah. And yeah, I do that like pawing motion. My
Nice.
front hooves.
Yeah, so she goes.
It's provocative.
Yeah, so she goes wide-eyed and she's like, "Wow, you're huge. I've never seen a creature like this before. Can I touch your
watch
fur?"
who you're calling creature.
Can I touch your fur?
Sure.
So she'll come up and kind of like runs her fingers through your, the fur on your side and your back, and it's like,
Just don't set me on fire.
I'll be careful. It's so bristly, but kind of soft still. It's very
I take
different.
great pride in my hygiene and groom.
Exactly. All right, so she's
Great mother wouldn't have it if I was offering my prayers in an unkempt state.
Exactly. No bedhead when you're talking to the Great Mother. So to keep the conversation a little shorter, now she's going to ask about the Great Mother. Now that that's come up, so we'll just assume that you kind of like give her some sort of a basic explanation as you try to go to bed before she comes up with more questions.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Well, the Great Mother is the Great Mother. Fades off into sleep.
All right. Yeah, and of course, Burn Bright will have taken the second watch, so you're all good. Nothing happened during the night. Yeah, y'all are starting to, awaken one by one. So Let's go ahead and get our weather rolls for the day. So I need 2 1d100s.
I call dibs.
Go for it.
77. Isn't that what I got last time?
I don't remember. All right, 77. So,
Slightly more favorable.
well, no, this is for the weather, not the direction of the wind yet.
Oh, dang.
All
So
right.
not the same thing.
Yeah, and honestly, I think it's already favorable. Yeah, it's already favorable. So getting more favorable would not have helped you. But yeah, so the wind is starting to pick up just a little bit. It's not strong yet, but you are starting to see some clouds rolling in, and there are some occasional light showers at this point. And now another 1d100. This is for the wind direction.
Someone else can take this one.
Oh, I rolled earlier and I got 93.
93. All right, that's re-roll. So go ahead and give me another 1d100. The direction will be fully resetting.
Oh, dang. I got a 71.
71. Re-roll again.
Okay.
Oh, no, never mind. I was looking at the wrong table.
I was gonna say, I feel like you're making this up.
No. So basically the way that it works is there's 2 charts. There's one of the current state, and that one you roll on if there isn't a current state. And then if there is a current state, there's a second chart that you roll on that is a change to the state, so that it's not like just bouncing around from like, oh, and now it's a thunderstorm, and the next day it's like calm and nothing, and then the next day, there's a blizzard, right? It's so that there will be a transition that makes more sense. But then the re-roll is for those sudden shifts. But when we re-roll, you then look at the first table, which I wasn't doing, which is why I was telling you to re-roll again, which is wrong. So what was it, 70 something you said?
71.
71. All right. That puts the wind in somewhat unfavorable. So the wind isn't completely against you, but it's coming in like more against you than not.
Okay.
As I'm doing all of my hard work to get the wind favorable.
Exactly. All right, so the wind, I mean, at least there's been like no wind for the last couple of days. At least there is a breeze now. That's got to be nice. Even if there are some occasional splatters of rain. Would someone like to give me a survival check?
Like, just one person, or?
Whoever would like to.
Well, I have 3 hero points, so I'll do it. Survival.
I will survive.
I got
I will survive.
16.
Okay.
So I think I don't know. I have so many hero points, and we just don't roll that often.
Yeah, we have not been rolling much recently. Just it's been a very RP heavy the last couple sessions.
Yeah, which I'm not complaining about.
Yeah,
but
and
I am
other
gonna go
people
ahead.
can roll as well. Like, this is not limited to one person. Anyone who is like up on deck at least at some point during the day. So basically, everyone except Junior can roll if they would like.
Well,
Okay.
And Monowanui. So basically, Ip and Mako.
Well, I got an 18.
All right.
I also got an
Aw, twins.
Nice. All right. So you guys at some point during the
18th
day.
twinning.
So yeah, you guys, you've eaten breakfast and, started getting the usual chores moving along, and Mako is, steering the ship, and the two of you are kind of up there chatting, and as you're looking around, you can just see the storms rolling in. They're pretty small at this point, just scattered showers, but you can kind of feel that, change in pressure that often presages a bigger storm. So potentially there could be more weather on the horizon. All right.
We should get rolling.
Damn, I had to Google presage. Sorry. I mean, I could get from context what it meant, but I was like, is that a word? Anyway.
Yeah, no, definitely check with me because yeah, my English is not so good.
Well, it worked out this time. That's absolutely what that means.
Yep. All right, Sue. What is your plan for navigating today? With the storms coming in, it's not fully blocked, so you're probably getting around 75% of your usual input through the solar panels. So you could go all day and all night without fully draining the batteries. You would end up with your batteries at about half drained by the morning of the next day if you want to go all day and all night. If you go all day and all night, you will be able to make it... what is your speed? I think your speed is usually half a square, with it being somewhat unfavorable. It's kind of weird because like it leaves you in a 3/4 of a square movement, which is not good for tracking. So I guess I'll just
okay.
In Pathfinder everything rolls down, so I'm just gonna round down since that's like the general rule. So if you go all day and all night, you can go your normal half a square despite the unfavorable wind. If you just go all day, then you're only going to make it like a 1/4 of a square.
So 0 squares?
Yeah, basically. And then the next day we'll just like combine your 1/4 of a square movement with whatever you do the next day.
I think we should go for the half a square. We gotta outrun this storm if possible.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Alrighty. And I guess, I mean, considering it has to be like a weird 1/4 of a square regardless, I'll say you can make it 3/4 of a square, and then whenever we get the chance to round it to a half, we'll do that. So technically you will make it 3/4 of a square by going day and night.
Sounds good. Yeah, which we are going to do as what, because that's what Ip and I think. And as far as I know, Junior is just like beside himself and figuring it out.
All right, so you're just going to continue heading due east?
Yes.
All
yes.
Right. Cool.
And I see that you moved us. That's supposed to be my job.
Someone did. I didn't move you.
That's my bad. I used to be the navigator. I forgot it was somebody else.
Oh, okay. That's okay. And do you need to know my multiplier, my
Yeah, I need to roll your navigation check. So it's plus 13?
That's correct.
Oh, I almost rolled it in the clear instead of hiding it. All right, here we go. 20 plus 13. Alrighty. So yeah, you are pretty sure you're about where you are marked. You think you might be drifting a bit further south, but you can't tell for sure right now. Not with the clouds kind of obscuring things.
Okay.
Alrighty. So next up, let's go ahead and get a will save from Manawa Nui.
Will save.
You can do it.
Plus 12. So let's see.
Yeah, luckily you have a very good will.
13, so 25.
All right. So you're finally starting to like, up until this point, there's been some vague sensations, nothing that really makes sense. You're not sure who you are or what's going on or really much. Because you are unconscious. You're not, like I said, it's not like you're locked in syndrome where you can kind of actually tell what's going on around you but can't react to it. You're finally at this point getting to where it's more like a dream. You're still not entirely sure who you are, or you don't realize that you are unconscious or any of that, but you are kind of starting to reform as a proper consciousness who is aware to some extent, and you are finding yourself essentially in a dreaming state. You are floating along kind of in a disembodied fashion. If you look around, you don't see a body or anything, not that you particularly expect there to be one. You're still not sure who you are or what's going on, but you find yourself floating along in a vast open plain. It's impossibly flat. It's everything is made out of these even cubes of some sort of dark stone, and breaking up the terrain around you are a variety of cylindrical objects poking out and belching forth smoke and flames into the air around you. And you can see vast arrays of figures of some sort, very small below you as you're floating high above the ground. But you can see some sort of figures down on the ground level who seem to be working tirelessly on various devices that you do not understand the use of. But yeah, that's where you find yourself now.
Shit continues to be fucked up. 411.
I assume I'm just like passively floating.
You can kind of steer yourself. It's almost as if you're like a jellyfish, where 90% of your movement is just dictated by the tide, but there is that 10% where you can kind of like try to steer yourself in one direction or another.
I see like these things are kind of everywhere, so I'll just keep going.
Yeah, and the landscape just continues unbroken in this manner as far as you go. Junior, you do see that Mono Anui is once again stirring, and seems less upset this time. Last time, it seemed like perhaps she was having a nightmare or something. Now it seems that she's calmer. Her breathing is, slow and normal.
Nice. Akalupu's or Junior's just gonna kind of like grab her hand and just kind of stay there with her.
All right.
Continue to dab her forehead.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Mono Anui, when Junior grabs your hand, you feel something. You don't feel someone holding your hand, of course. You don't have hands. What are you? You are you. You don't need any explanation beyond that. But you do feel some sensation of familiarity. As if there's a comforting presence nearby, though looking around as much as you can, you don't see anything nearby.
Hmm.
And same as before, you still can kind of like talk out loud in like one word sentences. And no, you can't make a sentence out of multiple single words. That's cheating.
Well, I don't feel like I'm in a state where I feel like talking. I feel like I'm just, just being. I'm just existing.
Yeah.
Floating through this ethereal plane. That's me.
No. And despite the darkness of everything around you, and the unpleasantness of it all, one thing you note is just how orderly everything is. Everything is, continuing on these loops. You can tell that, workers are doing the same tasks over and over. And the landscape itself seems to be in a repeating pattern. So it's just this, everything seems to be ordered and precise. All right. I think we've been forgetting to tick off food for the last few days. We definitely didn't do it last session, which covered 2 days. I don't think we did it the one before either, so I'm gonna say 3 days worth of food.
I think we should get free food.
If you want free food, you gotta get it from probably the ocean.
I actually have a spell to create.
Yes, you can make magic food, but it tastes bad. So basically, like emergency rations, you're covered, but they are like soul-suckingly unpleasant.
Yeah, it's not going to be good for the crew morale.
Right, you're basically eating like wet cardboard.
Yum.
Oh man.
Yeah, unseasoned wet cardboard too. So. It's there in emergency, but unless you have to.
For seasoning.
We only have 8 more days before we hopefully find some land.
Yup. And Dolphine can make water, so you're covered there as long as she's with you guys.
She can make fresh water?
Yes.
Guess that makes sense.
Not that you necessarily like, including that in your calculus, since, that's not a thing that you have specifically established. So you probably aren't thinking of that as an option, but technically it is. All right. So what are people up to during the day? Junior, of course, I assume is watching Manawa Nui. Manawa Nui is floating around in La La Land, so what are Ip and Mako up to today?
I'm driving the boat. That's my job.
That's your job.
Brooding.
Oh, yeah. What about it? Also just chores?
Well, I'm doing my chores, but kind of while I'm doing my chores, I'm trying to figure out how to read.
All right.
Oh, you know what? I want to give Burn Bright a crash course on how to drive the boat better. Because we're down to like Skeleton's crew at this point, and he was struggling the other night when he had to drive.
Yeah. All right. So yeah. So you're fairly easily able to, in terms of like mechanically driving the boat, he's pretty much good. Like he built half of this boat as it is.
And yet. He didn't know.
He did not know about this trap.
Wheel.
Or he just didn't think about it.
Yeah. That's why I just don't trust him, and I just wanted to go over the basics again to make sure that we're all on the same page.
Do you want now one side of your job that he definitely is not as versed in is the actual navigating side of things. So if you wanted to try and teach him some of that stuff.
It does not seem like his strong suit, I have to say.
All right.
But I am kind of concerned, like, I don't know, what if something happens to one of us? Because, like, Jason just moved the boat because he used to be navigator, but that was his dad, right? Like he doesn't. Does he know how to do it?
I mean, he knows how to steer in terms of being able to navigate. He knows somewhat. He can use a spell that'll tell him which way north is, which is a pretty, massive help. I think you still have that, right, Jason? No direction?
I don't prepare it, but I do have it available to me.
Okay, so he has that option. But no, in terms of like navigating using the stars and stuff, he is not versed in that knowledge.
I would just ask the Great Mother to tell me where to go.
Yeah, I feel like in an emergency, we'd be in okay shape. Now I'm like, what happens if any of us go down? It's already kind of really bad that we don't have a captain.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think one idiot lesson is enough for me today.
Fair enough. Yeah, after the time you're done with Burn Bright, you're like, yeah, I can't. I just can't.
Yeah, it's time for silence at the helm.
Burn Bright, go somewhere else and do something else. I don't care where or what. Just stop talking.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right.
By the end, she's like, I would rather be teaching anyone but you. And Gur pops his head in. You called?
Exactly. Gur will drive the boat. And we'll grab the wheel and immediately just do a sharp right turn.
Can I like slap it out of his hands?
Yeah, you're gonna need to. He's Gur is I mean, Invader Zim, right?
I do, yeah, but like
he's basically
can I slap his hands or is he like a puppy?
He's like Gur from Invader Zim. He's like a little robot who wears yes. He's a robot wearing basically a sleeper on the outside that he calls his skin suit.
Oh, perfect. So I can't even really hurt him. I just need to be roundhouse kick.
Yes.
Get away from that.
No, 100%. Plus, if he gets damaged, Burn Bright can just fix him up. So roundhouse kicking him across the ship is a perfectly legitimate response.
And He will follow your orders literally and problematically, if possible.
Like Amelia Bedelia?
Yes. Exactly. So anyway, now that Gur is away from the wheel, you're able to write it easily enough. Yeah. And then Jason, you were continuing to work on the book. Are you doing that alone? Are you continuing to recruit Delphine's help?
I guess it depends if Delphine's hanging around. I'm not gonna hide it from her.
Yeah. I think she's definitely around, and is happy to help with any chores and whatever people are doing, so.
Yeah, I mean, I might just use her for anything that involves a fire from now on. Tired of burning my fingers.
Exactly. And she is more than happy to show off her new abilities. She's, she still keeps saying how she feels like she doesn't fully understand it. She can't quite control it the way she can water yet.
But soon you'll be a walking flamethrower.
I hope so.
That's probably very effective against cocoa biters.
Yeah, if only I'd had this back then, I could have toasted their nuts.
They're cocoa nuts.
Exactly. All right, so yeah, go ahead and give me an intelligence check. I'll roll for Delphine to see how well she's helping out. Yeah. Pretty good roll.
I am moderately smart.
Well, she has a +1 in intelligence.
Me too. I got a 14.
All right, she got a 19. She makes some progress. Definitely not a huge amount, considering you're just doing it here and there when you have time between other tasks. And it's not like last night where, other than checking every once in a while to make sure the ship is still pointed the right direction, you're focusing on it. But yeah, you're continuing to make a little bit of progress on it. You're starting to feel like you're starting to put together kind of the grammar. You've figured out a couple of words, like some really commonly repeated words, like maybe and or the or some of the things like that. So that has helped you start to kind of like piece together how perhaps the language represents sounds as symbols.
Oh, so it's a phonetic alphabet.
Yeah, I assume that's what you went with, at least, Abe.
Phonetic alphabet? Yeah.
Yeah.
Not like a syllabic.
Yeah, and it's not like kanji where it's like each concept and thought has a different symbol.
Yeah. No, there'd be like thousands upon thousands of symbols if that was the case.
Like in kanji.
Exactly.
All right, so yeah, it is a phonetic alphabet.
That's a win, honestly, in itself.
Yeah.
That we figured that out.
Oh yeah. No, it's only been with like 2 people putting their heads together that you've started making real progress on it.
And I guess we didn't cause at night Dolphine was like periodically analytical and then creative.
Yeah.
But she's not like that during the day. It's just
No.
like average at everything.
Yeah, during the day, rather than like swapping back and forth between those two, it seems more just like a steady, normal, kind of like you said, average.
Interesting.
Where, she's not kind of limited and focused in on one or the other. She's, able to easily switch between the two.
Well, that's good and bad.
Yeah, because like
more helpful to have both sides almost separate.
Yeah, in a way, because like having it structured where she was kind of pushing to look at it from one perspective and then another, actually helped a lot with your progress in that you were looking at it from very different perspectives. While during the day, it's more flexible, but she's not pushing different perspectives as much. It's more a single through line.
Cool. Well, we make it through the study session / cooking meals.
Yeah.
And we realize that we've been forgetting to count our food.
And you're like, oh, we have quite a bit less than we thought we did. Well, not by that much, but yeah. You've still got a good 4 slots. So
still a little bit of a wake-up call that food is in limited supply. We might want to start fishing to resupply our wares.
Exactly. And you guys don't really have like hook and line fishing particularly. So the kind of fishing that you do is bring out the cannons. But yeah, you would be mostly still like spear fishing at this point.
Gotcha.
Unless you wanted to start developing it.
Do we have a way to get back in the airship if someone like dives in to go spear fishing? I guess we've got the rope ladder.
Yeah, so you have a rope ladder. You also have the deployable ship underneath that you could drop and have someone in that, and then you could just go back down, reattach it, and then lift up again.
Perfect.
So yeah, you definitely have some options. Do you want to do spearfishing today, or is that a tomorrow
thing? Yeah, I kind of want
thing?
to try it just for fun.
All right.
Like, we could use some more food. Let's go for a dip.
So who are you bringing with you, or are you going alone?
I'm bringing Dolphine in case I am in any danger of drowning.
All right.
I have no idea how good I'm gonna be at this. My athletics is 1.
Yeah, well, luckily you won't need to roll athletics for this. This will be survival.
Not much better.
Fair. All right, so the two of you get in the little boat below, and she's like, "Oh, this is so exciting! Your boat has a boat. It's like this boat had a baby."
It is like a little baby boat.
So yeah, you lower the ship down, and then once you're only a couple inches above the water with the bottom boat, you untie it, detaching it, and it drops down. And Dolphine uses her abilities to kind of make the landing smoother and keeps the water from splashing you two. Kind of just pushing it off to the sides, and then the big boat can kind of go back up and continue on its way, while a little boat, you'll lift the sails. You're not going particularly fast either, since the wind is not with you, but you can make some speed, especially if you do some rowing. Let's go ahead and get survival checks from the two of you to see how you do on fishing.
I got a 22. Good roll.
Nice. All right, Dolphin got a 14. Not nearly so good. So you guys are doing the sustain self. Let me see. I have to find my cheat sheet of all the different actions so I can figure out what the DC is for what you're doing. Let's see, where is it? There we go. Cheat sheets. That's not where I wanted you. And if anyone else wants to see the cheat sheets, it is right here. It's just called Pathfinder 2nd Edition cheat sheet in your journal, but it should be available to all of you. And it's, again, just same as your boats. It's a link to a document. Let's see.
Yeah, I have this one bookmarked. I didn't see anything for fishing.
Nice. It wouldn't be fishing specifically. There's one for basically sustaining, like living off of the land. Not finding it either, though. Let me see, maybe it's not in this cheat sheet. Here's scouting. That's kind of the right thing. It's not tracking. Oh, here we go. Subsist. Page 240. Let me pull that up. All right. Subsist. Oh, wrong page.
Armit and Greg. This is my dog Stinky and Stinky's dog, I think Nunzio.
All right, here we go.
We were
Subsist.
talking about how the boat has a boat.
Mm-hmm.
And Molly watches this show, and in the show, she's got a dog, and she gets the dog its own dog.
Nice.
This is my dog Stinky, and Stinky's dog Nunzio.
Yeah.
All right, so subsisting. You try to provide food and shelter for yourself and possibly others as well, with a standard of living described on page 294. The DM decides the DC based on the nature of the place where you're trying to subsist. You might need a minimum proficiency rank, blah, blah, blah. Let's see. On a success, you find enough food and shelter with basic protection from the elements to provide you a subsistence living. There is a feat that lets you do that for 4 people. I assume you do not have it, though. So you essentially would have gotten 1 day's worth of food for yourself for 1 person, and then Dolphine would have done the same. So roughly a half a day's worth of food for the crew, we'll say. So I will put Foe back in one of the slots. There we go. You got some food.
Crushing it.
Not only do we get food, it's pho.
Except it's not even pho. Pho is actually 1 day's worth of food. You just get F in chat.
Oh.
Have to pay respects.
Exactly. All right. You get a little bit of food that way. And yeah, with Dolphin there, even whenever the rain comes or the small waves would kind of like splash over the ship, she keeps you guys dry, so you don't even get wet while you're out there.
I'm curious, Dolphin, could you manipulate the water around the fish to just catch the fish in its like it can't even move anywhere because the water that it's swimming is now yours?
Yeah, I could do that.
That seems like it would be super effective.
All right, well, it's not going to be any more effective than your normal survival checks because it's more based on like finding the fish in the first place. But yeah, we'll say she loves that suggestion, and that's how you fish going forward. But no, will not get you any extra fish, unfortunately.
Water bending fishing is definitely cooler than spear fishing.
Oh yeah, so she'll start doing that from that point on. She'll grab a fish in a bubble of water, pull it up as it's like struggling to escape, and then you just kind of like grab it out of the bubble of water, and it's pretty effective. Yeah, so you spend probably around 4-ish hours doing that, and then eventually signal back up to the main ship for them to come down and get you, reattach, go back up, the whole thing. But yeah, that'll get you a little extra food. Alrighty, so is there anything else people want to do with their daytime before we proceed into the evening? Cool. All right, so proceeding into the evening, let's go ahead and get another will save from Manawanui.
Manawanui
We're pulling for you.
is going to watch me get a 1. 16. So 26.
Nice. All right. So
No. I can't do math. It's 29.
Wow.
Nice.
Manawanui truly does have an iron will.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's how she's been able to read so much of the evil book as it is.
The book.
Yep.
She's a tough old bitch.
So you've been continuing to float on in this dream that you've been having. And again, like I said, the landscape around you seems to just repeat in even patterns over and over and over forever. It's not the same. Like, you're pretty certain looking at it that it's not, it's not literally repeating. It's just very regular. And you start to kind of get this feeling like it's all like all the lines are heading towards some sort of central point. Perhaps rather than being there's some sort of nexus to this place. And you start to head toward that central area. And as you do, you're starting to, get more sensations back, starting to remember perhaps that, you are someone, that you didn't always exist in this space, that you came from somewhere else. And you, as you're starting to make that realization, hazy memories of the before times start to come back to you, and you remember, having friends once, and how you all went on some kind of grand adventure. You remember jumping into a giant burning pit for some reason. And then, strangely enough, you then remember having wings and clawed talons and being some sort of white feathered creature. And then, After that, you remember not being a feathered creature. You remember being a two-legged, mostly hairless creature. And yeah, slowly you're beginning to regain your memories and sense of self. And you're starting to pick up some sensations. You feel as though perhaps this isn't reality. Perhaps this is a dream. You used to have those once upon a time. And perhaps there's some other world that you actually belong in that you should be returning to.
With my more less comfortable being a jellyfish mind, do I now notice anything that like do I pick up on what like the workers are doing, or aside from the fact that
you're too high up to tell.
Okay.
Everything below you, the figures look like ants.
So aside from the fact that there's cylinders, people working on something, and then all these lines seeming to going towards a convergence, I don't notice, like, I don't like draw any other conclusions.
I mean, you can draw any conclusions that you want to, but you don't notice anything else in particular.
I want to keep following the lines.
All right. Yeah, so Akalupu Jr., you are continuing to tend to Manoa Nui, and you notice that the tears of blood have finally stopped. She seems, slightly less pale than she has been.
Whatever we're doing is working. Akalupu's gonna just keep doing what he was doing.
Exactly. Just keep doing chest compressions.
Yeah.
It's definitely what Manoa Nui needs right now, is for you to just be like breaking all of her ribs to keep her heart beating.
Yeah.
It's like medieval medicine. It's like, well, he's getting better, and I've been breaking his ribs. So.
Exactly. Clearly, this must be the way.
The key is to continue to break the ribs.
All right. Eventually, Manoa Nui, you are starting to, your sense of self and your memories are continuing to slowly sharpen as you continue toward, following the lines. And then eventually you can see ahead of you something different. Finally, a break in the repeated patterns.
Oh, nice.
Ahead of you, like I said, so the figures below you, you're not sure how big they are, in like human scale. But they look like ants from up here. It's impossible to say whether they're, actually human-sized or, they could be giants for all you know, and you're just that far away. But you...
Can I, float downwards a little bit?
You've attempted to and have been unsuccessful.
Okay, I'm gonna keep looking and going.
All right. And so ahead of you, you finally see a break in the pattern. You see some cavernous opening ahead of you. It's like the inverse of a mountain, where when you're, driving toward mountains, they look tiny in the distance, but then you realize you've been driving toward them for like 2 hours and they're not looking any larger than they were before. And you come to the realization that they're actually massive. It's a similar thing, but the inverse, where there is a cavernous hole. It's a perfect circle the mouth of it is, and there's some massive hole ahead of you that you have been, approaching for some time, and it doesn't seem to be growing any larger. The only reason you can even see it from this distance is because of your extremely elevated position. And inside of it, you think you can make out perhaps some sort of a figure, whose size is, proportional to this hole. You don't know how big the hole is, but it must be enormous. Like, best kind of scale you can give it would be, like the base of a mountain, but just a drop into the earth below. And there is a figure inside of it that, requires a hole that large. It's not humanoid, or certainly human in any degree whatsoever, but it does seem to have some form and purpose. It's not just a natural shape. And you can, you think you can make out more of these workers continuing to, crawl about its surface like ants swarming, though from this distance, all you can see is, the vaguest, suggestions of movement across the thing. It's also entirely possible that the figure itself is, not entirely solid and is, deforming and moving in some manner. And you continue to float closer to it. It's largely wreathed in shadow, but as you approach it, you feel as though you're starting to get a better view on it. But then as you are, finally, after what feels like days of floating toward it, starting to get to an angle where you feel that you might start being able to see the figure itself, you suddenly are snapped out of it, and Junior, Manawa Nui suddenly, exhales loudly and opens her eyes. Yeah, Manawa Nui, you are conscious.
And there was much rejoicing. Yay!
And there was.
Great gnashing of teeth. I'm just kidding.
No, Junior goes, Manawanui, and wraps his arms around her.
Junior. Then I give up the ghost and die.
Mananui's hug is what does you in.
No, I'm gonna put my hand and kind of just try and push him off. But I'm really weak and enfeebled.
But doesn't fully let go. I thought you would. Don't do that to me.
No, I'm. Well, sorry to disappoint. Do I remember anything?
You remember up until basically when you got slammed through the wall of darkness. Do you remember that after Topple said he was going to show you the realm, and as you were exiting the library, you kind of went slamming through a wall of darkness?
Yeah.
You remember up until basically slamming into the wall. You remember the way that it felt like belly flopping into a pool from the high dive. And you remember a half second of coming out the other side and thinking that you are seeing something that you don't understand, that your mind is not capable of comprehending. And then the next thing you remember is only you're jellyfishing. experience, you know, starting to have those dreams, but you do remember the dreams you were just in.
Well, why am I in the storage room?
Well, I had to get you away from that book.
Oh, must have not put it away. Oh, please don't tell me you didn't try and move it.
No, no one's touched it.
Oh, good. Well, help me back to my cabin. I'm gonna try and get up.
Yeah, and try is definitely the operative word here. You find yourself being, you know, physically exhausted and, you know, sore. And yeah, Junior definitely will need to like catch you and help you.
Junior scoops her up and carries her and all the stuff back to her room.
Nice.
All right. So your room is largely how you left it, only slightly rifled through by Ip.
Someone's been looking through my stuff. I'm gonna look at Akalupu like he should have maybe done something about that.
He's been unconscious for 3 days, and she's worried about like her privacy.
That's Manawa Nui.
How long have I been unconscious for?
3 days.
Oh, good lord. Well, is that strange woman still with us?
Oh, yeah. And from what I've heard from through the open door, she's got some pretty interesting abilities.
Yeah, and at this point, like people would have seen you carrying Manawa Nui to her room. Like the entrance to the captain's cabin is like the most conspicuous place on the boat. So anyone else who would like to go visit the convalescent, you will know that she is awake at this point.
Yeah, I feel like I rush over there, Jason.
Yes, I'm very excited about this.
Yeah. Burn Bright will be there. Gur is, you know, off in a corner making some sort of mischief or another. He's going through your supply of ropes and tying them all into nooses with no explanation.
Keeping it normal, having a normal one.
You know, Dolphine will show up as well, and then as like pretty much as soon as you are brought into the room, Reginald, you know, immediately flaps over and you know, lands on your chest because you're kind of, I assume you're reclining at this point.
Yes.
All right, so
I'm
yeah.
in I kind of prop myself up in my bed, reclining next to the wall.
Yeah. You know, so no shoulder to perch on, but he'll like land probably next to you instead on your chest, and then, you know, kind of just looks directly into your eyes, kind of doing that beady bird eye thing, and you do notice Reginald looks a little different. Reginald, rather than being a pure Snow White albino, now seems to have symbols and glyphs that move and shift across his figure. But anyway, yeah. So the whole crew is together now.
Does it look artificial? Does it look like definitely this is in his fur? Not fur, but feathers.
What do you mean by artificial?
Like, does it look like someone painted on him?
No.
Oh, you said these are shifting, right?
Yeah, they are shifting and moving. And these glyphs, they seem very reminiscent of some of the symbols that you've seen from the books you've stolen or borrowed from Topple. But they don't seem quite the same. And they seem to continually elude interpretation. They always seem familiar, like right on the edge of being understandable, but you're never quite able to make out what any of them actually say.
I'm probably just gonna, for now, since everyone else is here, I'm gonna blow it off. Pretend like there's not even a difference. Of course, Reginald has always looked strange.
Right. Now, this is the
Don't
least.
worry about it, guys.
This is the least.
There is no demonic gate that has been opened. Anywho.
So anyway, so as you were asking, is the new arrival still here? And Junior responds and says yes, and that she seems to have some abilities. The kind of everyone is showing up, and you can indeed see that Dolphine is amongst the group.
Oh.
Like, Captain, you're alive. This is awesome.
Yeah, bro, it was super spooky. You were like crying tears of blood and stuff. I was like really worried, especially since you don't like the whole Great Mother thing. So like we were pretty sure she wasn't gonna save you with like a miracle or anything.
I was kind of scared that I was going to have to be captain, and I don't want that level of responsibility.
Tears of blood, eh? Must have cut myself when I fell.
Oh, that was what was crazy. You were like totally fine physically. Like we examined you.
Huh.
Yeah, we would have healed
hey.
you if there was something physically wrong with you. It seemed like something metaphysically wrong. And I kind of like glance slash glare at the dark book.
Wait, if you're all down here, who's steering the ship?
Turns out there's like a latch you can put on to keep it going like straight in one direction. Pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
I'll get back onto the deck and take care of the steering. I just wanted to say hey and see how you were doing.
Oh, much appreciated. I think I just overworked myself. Nothing a few days of rest and recuperation won't fix.
Oh, so you're in denial.
Listen, a point, Pip. I don't know what you're referring to, but
Well, I think it's obvious that the reason that you were struck down by this curse is because you don't believe enough in the Great Mother. Here, pray over this talisman that I was given by the Great Mother herself.
Yeah.
I think your prayers would be far more effective than mine. I'd hate to, from an opportunity cost point of view, I'd hate to, dilute it with my lesser abilities.
Oh, well, fine. I
I'm
didn't
on the
want to
back.
give you my Great Mother talisman that I treasure with all of my heart and soul anyway.
Well, if you think it'll help, you can. I'll keep it. Keep it safe. I trust you. Trust all of you. Giant community of trust here.
Yeah, the Great Mother looks after all of her children.
Well, what have I missed?
Dolphine is a water fire bending badass.
Well, that's a bit of an exaggeration, but yes, I do have some abilities to control the elements.
She can hold fire, dude.
Really? Going to look at her again. Kind of maybe try and discern if I see or sense anything. But also I'm hecka weak, so I'm not gonna lie, I can't really see the other end of the room. It's a little blurry, but I'm not gonna I ain't gonna tell no one that.
Well, I mean, you kind of the same as the rest of the crew now that she's, feeling better and and is more healthy. I forget whether or not this was before or after you went unconscious that I talked about it, but you definitely notice her, beauty beyond that of the normal mortal ken. And other than that, like if you're going for detect magic, yeah, you detect magic, but you already knew that from when you picked her up on the rock.
Mm.
I mean, you detect
So can you
magic.
create-
Like, who do you not detect magic from in the current crew?
You're not wrong.
Burn Bright, even though some of his items have magic. Akalupu, even though, again, several of his items have magic. End of list.
What was I gonna say? Oh yes. Well, we're glad to. Can you create fire and ice and these such things?
Yeah, even though I'm way more comfortable with water than I am with fire, I still feel as though I'm getting to learn it and understand it. It's like a wild, untamed animal of some kind.
Well, whenever it comes to such things, especially new and undiscovered or recently discovered things, caution. That's my motto.
Oh yes,
try not
PPOP's
to,
already told me to be very careful with the fire. He said that fire eats wood and we don't want it to eat the ship.
Yes, fire usually eats most everything that's hot enough.
Mm.
Even I'm very curious. Well, I'm sure the Poi Pip can wait, who's the quartermaster? It's the Poi Pip, right?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm sure a Poi Pip can think of not a few things that will be useful for you to do around the ship.
Yeah, I've been trying to help
Especially
out as much as
nuclear fire.
possible.
Oh,
Ip
and
said
you-
that creating fire was really difficult. He showed me how you do it, and it does seem very time consuming. So I'm happy to
It is
help out.
indeed. Malin, why don't you and Ip I'm gonna sign. Well, of course, if this is all right with you, I'm going to make you Ip's assistant when it comes to cooking and keeping the ship in good state, if that's all right with you.
Aye, aye, Captain. And she turns to Ip. Did I do it right?
Crushed it.
Yes.
We should
Now, if you'll
celebrate.
Oh, I don't know
Yeah.
how up to celebration I feel.
We just caught some really tasty fish. We could grill those up and have a feast tonight.
Well, it'd be a shame to waste fresh fish.
All right, I will delete the F. You have now used that food.
No
All right.
more F.
So, Ip, let's get a crafting check to see how good you are at cooking.
Oh, here we go. Dice don't fail me now. Oh. And it's on the floor. That is a 20, not natural.
Sweet. All right. Yeah. So you make an exceptional feast. You go through the remaining supplies and you grab some of the few remaining kind of fruits and vegetables that are still in decent shape. Unfortunately, you guys are not aware of scurvy being a thing, so you don't exactly have like a supply of citrus to deal with that. hopefully you won't be at sea that long. But yeah, you grab the last of the fruits and vegetables that are still in edible condition, though most of them are barely so. So this works out well as a way to clean out those perishables as well. And you get out the fish and grill them up quite nicely, and some of the other supplies, and spice everything well. And before long, there is a mouth-watering smell coming out of the galley, certainly whetting everyone's appetite across the boat. And then before long, probably around an hour or so before sunset, everything is ready and a feast is called together. You break out some of the stocks of alcohol as well. I believe, Manawanui, your beer, because it's in the magical cauldron, would still be fine.
Yes.
So you can break out the beer. Indeed.
The Caden's Brew.
Yes. And you said Caden's Brew was like a sweet ale?
Yes. It's like yeah.
All right. So the evening is filled with merriment and carousing. You guys thoroughly enjoy yourselves. Does anyone want to sing some songs to keep the party going? Imagine y'all have some. If nothing else, Ip can do some chants.
Oh, no, we'll refrain. I'm sure Ip has. I'm not Ip. I'm sure Junior has a song in his heart, just waiting to be released.
Yeah, he's like, my friend married Tracy. What was it? My friend married Tracy McCall. By Christ, she was a scary old doll. A voice out of hell and a temper to boot. Arms like a navvy and a face like dried fruit. I bumped into Harvey back home last year. Says I to him, you wanna go for a beer? My sister's French husband is over, says he's my wife sent me to fetch snails to impress him for tea. I was down at the snail shop, she told me to go. I'm a little bit late because business was slow. If I'm not home by 6, I'll surely be done. The missus will kill me, I'll just go for the one. And then everyone claps along to the chorus.
I'm envious how much you have how much of that song you have memorized.
I have the entire song memorized. I'm just not going to do the entire thing because I don't think anyone wants to sit here and listen to me do that.
Hey.
What's the sea shanty about being in the brig?
Do you mean what do you do with a drunken sailor?
What do you do with a drunken sailor? That's the one.
There we go. Everyone breaks out into what do you do with a drunken sailor? What do you do with a drunken sailor? What do you do with a drunken sailor? Early in the morning. Alrighty.
Throw him in the brig until he's sober. Throw him in the brig until
he's sober. Throw him in the brig until he's sober. Early in the morning.
Alright.
So yeah, everyone.
I seem to remember a long time ago, Manawanui was really good at singing songs. Is that not correct?
I think that was true. Didn't he like abs? No, he was dancing. That's what he was really good at. Because at the festival, when you guys climbed the mountain and became adults and everything, at your festival at this I forget what it was, what I called it, but basically your adult becoming adult festival. Manawanui did like a dance and I think won the performance part of the competition.
Manawanui doesn't actually have her dancing legs under her at the moment. So I just noticed I have a 10 in performance.
Yeah, do you want to roll it and perform something for the group?
Manawanui is going to roll it. We're gonna see if we can't sing a ballad about our adventure so far. Basically, like a ballad version of the book that she wrote that Ip is trying to learn.
Yeah. Are you doing just like one adventure, or are you doing like, you're now reciting the Iliad for the next 10 hours?
Oh, we're reciting the Iliad, baby, because I just got an 18 plus 10, so I got a 28.
All right. So yeah, Mono Anui, do you have any instruments that you use, or is it just your voice?
Oh, you know what? I actually have a spell that is like summon an instrument. What's it called? Oh my gosh, I still need to. Okay,
Do you have it
I
prepared?
need to do something. I don't know. That's a good question. Although I still need to cut down on 2. It's like summon instrument or something like that. Where is it? Where is it? I totally forgot. I never cut down the last 2 spells. So I'm gonna have to do that after the game today. Where is it? Oh my gosh, I know I took this one because I thought it was epic. It's something like summon a instrument. No, I think I have an instrument. I have the what's that? The double flute thing. Remember?
I remember what it is. I don't remember what it's called though. But yeah,
Yeah.
it was one of the items we picked up on Nino Island.
That's what I'm playing.
It's kind of hard to do while you sing.
It's gonna be a.
Do you want a drum or something? Seems a little bit more doable.
There we go. Summon instrument. You materialize a handheld musical instrument in your grasp. Your instrument type. Your instrument is typical for its type, but it plays only for you. It vanishes when the spell ends.
Do you have it prepared?
I do not. But we'll just do
If he had accepted my talisman, then he could cast any not prepared spell once a day.
Oh, for real?
No. If he had the talisman, he would have found that it did not work for him.
Dang.
No, I have.
You have to accept the Great Mother in your heart and soul.
Exactly.
I have Ray of Frost prepared, but I don't think that's a Storm Stealer. Or I'm sorry, a Show Stealer.
No. Instead of doing a ballad, you could just play a haunting, musical number on your little, like, 2-ended flute.
You know what? That's what we're going to do instead.
All right. So you guys just lucked out. You don't know it, but you just avoided having to sit through 10 hours of Mono Anui.
Most of y'all's parents are in that story, so...
The Great Mother is truly good.
Yeah, that little adventure will be saved for another time.
Technically, Mako's parent is in there. She's probably not going to make it to, the final cut.
Yeah. And I assume in the story you don't tell that part of it, because Mako still doesn't know what happened to her father. She only knows that, like, he had, like, you and the previous generation returned with Mako to the village. Mako was acting strange, and you all turned him over to the villagers, who put him in prison to figure out what was going on. And then Mako disappeared from the prison at night and was never seen again.
Yeah. That's why Abe said it would make it to the final cut.
Yeah.
Or it does, and then there's the disclaimer. All names, places, and events are entirely fictional.
Right.
That would be such a funny way for me to find out that you guys killed my dad. For him to be singing a song.
Yeah, but he's just like, and then he burned.
Any similarity to real people or events is merely coincidental.
Alrighty.
That wasn't mock out. That was like That was a lockout, completely different.
Yeah. It just there's a little bit of typo there. Sorry. Don't worry about it, Mako. Also. All right. So yeah, Mana Wanui plays a haunting lullaby on the little flute thingy, bringing a tear unbidden to many an eye.
And Junior definitely falls asleep in a corner.
Exactly.
He's had a rough few days.
Yeah. Yeah, and I know exactly what the instrument is, Abe. I just don't have any clue what those are called.
Yeah. But that thing.
Yeah.
I figured for everyone else, they wouldn't be like a wife.
Yeah, I've seen them before. I've even heard people play them. I just have no clue what they're called. But yeah. Would anyone like to give me one to be appropriate? Let's say either perception or diplomacy.
I don't remember anyone else, but I have a +10 in diplomacy.
You're welcome to roll it.
All right, I will. I got a 29. Dang, I feel like I'm using all of my high rolls right now, and then I'm gonna go to like dodge an arrow and then like jump right in the way.
Exactly.
We're on the seat.
You're
How many arrows are you dodging?
Mana Wanui will find a way. Mana Wanui has almost died more than once to being shot with arrows.
Oh yeah.
Arrow magnet.
Yeah, it's kind of a thing. In fact, it's so much of a thing that I specifically gave Mana Wanui a piece of loot that is bracers of arrow deflection to try and keep her from dying so much.
Like Wonder Woman?
Kinda. Except instead of having to like actively bounce things off with them, they like magically push arrows and other mid-sized missiles away from you.
Oh, okay. That's sad, but I understand.
Yeah. All right. So, Mana Wanui, you notice throughout the evening, Dolphine is very much like enjoying the party. She's laughing. She's talking. She's eating. But when it comes to exactly. But when it comes to the singing, she does not participate at all. She'll clap along, she'll smile, like she's still having a good time. It's not like she's like off in a corner pouting or anything, but she does not sing, even when everyone else is.
After my I don't think soliloquy is the word I'm looking for, but it's the only word in my head.
Your performance?
My performance. I'm gonna look over that one. Well, Dolphine, do they sing? Do your people sing?
Oh yes, my people are beautiful singers.
Well then, surely would you grace us with the song?
No. I don't think that's a good idea.
Oh. Come, if even good old Junior can sing, surely it can't be any worse than him. I would say I would jokingly rib Junior, but I think he's still asleep.
Yeah. I mean, he sleeps deeply enough, you can jokingly rib him and he probably wouldn't even wake up.
I would, but I have to like lean too far. And,
That's true. It's too much effort.
Aggravate my frail constitution.
Yeah, you are feeling much better. Like after having some time to rest, you were already kind of able to get up and move on your own as long as you were taking it slow. And as you're finally getting some solid food in you, because Akalupu's just been like spoon feeding you soup basically. But yeah, after getting some solid food in you and everything, like you are feeling much better to the point where you can definitely like stand up and move around without issue at this point. You're still feel kind of sore, but otherwise you're feeling pretty good. But she's like, no, trust me, it would not be good.
No one's gonna twist your arm. But you're among friends here.
I know. You guys have been very kind to me after taking me onto your ship. I'm very grateful. I just hope I haven't been too much of a burden.
You know, from what I hear, I haven't been here for much of it, but it sounds like we're quite I'll say this in the more sarcastic tones, blessed to have you. I'm gonna say it, try and say it like subtly enough so that like, you know, maybe Poi Pip doesn't think I'm like mocking his ideology, but you know.
Mm-hmm.
Can't quite say that with a straight face.
All right. Yeah. So as you are saying that, suddenly a massive wind comes up. It feels as though like a wall of wind crashes into the side of the ship. And you feel the ship being pushed kind of sideways. Everyone give me a reflex save.
Where's my 19?
Oh goodness, I'm gonna hero point that.
It's like it just goes flying off the ship.
I got a 33. That's a nat 20, baby.
Dang!
Okay, I got a 19.
Nice.
You shouldn't have done it. I probably could have caught you. Shouldn't have hero pointed it.
My hero point only added 4.
Maybe I
rolled
still need to catch
badly
you.
both times.
Whoever gets the least.
And what about Junior?
18.
All right, pretty good. Then Dolphin got a 25. All right. Those of you who got under 20, which I believe is Junior, Mono Inui, and Ip, you guys find yourself knocked over from the sudden...
Over the side of the ship?
Not
just,
over
like,
the side
onto
of the
the deck?
ship. Yes, down.
Okay.
Down as in like onto the deck. But yeah, you guys find yourselves being knocked over by the sudden movement and the wind as well. And looking up, you find that you guys have been distracted and hadn't noticed, but especially with the sky darkening at this point, keeping it somewhat hidden, but you can now see rapidly approaching you a massive storm system, basically just a wall of black clouds, black thunderheads angrily churning towards you with thunder striking down every so often, making contact with the ocean below. And it appears that the wall of wind that just hit you was the storm front.
I
Good thing
am
we're not
going
all
to...
drunk.
Yeah, I will be kind and I will not make all of you roll with some sort of debuff because of the alcohol.
Mono Inui is going to try and get to her feet, but while she's trying to get to her feet, she's going to yell for PPOP to, I should say, PPOP, go get rope so we can all tie ourselves off to the deck.
Yep. Did you guys take the upgrade with the hooks?
Oh, I thought we did, but Let me look.
Yes, you have seats and rings to secure yourself in place. So you
yeah, we
did
just need-
take that modification.
And then I'm gonna yell at everyone. And then we tell Knockout to get to the helm, face us into the wind.
So with the wind or against the wind?
I'm pretty sure I want to go against the wind, but actually now I'm doubting myself.
All right. If you are going against the wind, then you're going to be headed straight into the storm. If you go with the wind, you are going to be headed away
We're
from the
not
storm.
on the water. So then I'm going to tell him to go. The opposite of that. Switch that. Reverse it. For some reason, I thought we were in the water.
Yeah, no, you are still currently floating about 5 feet above the water.
I can see why you'd be just considering we're on the open ocean.
Yeah. Junior, go help Pip get the ropes. Start tying everyone up and tying everything down that can be, or that needs to be. I'm going to look at Delphine, kind of pause because I'm not actually sure what to tell her what to do. So I'm just going to look at her for like about 5 seconds, see if she says something.
She will volunteer to go pull in the sails. Because
Yes.
you do not want the sails lowered in a massive storm.
You're not wrong.
It's a good way to have your mast ripped off.
While I'm down fetching the rope, I'm looking for Midnight because I want to secure Midnight as well.
All right, you hear some meowing coming from down in the storage area, which is probably about as safe as is possible to be on the ship right now.
Yeah, I was gonna say a cat'll probably hunker down.
Well, he still needs a seatbelt.
LOL.
If you try to tie Midnight up in any fashion, Midnight is going to try and scratch you.
Yeah.
That's
Sounds like a difficult task.
So unless that's like the thing that you are committing to doing for the time being, I would suggest it.
I don't know that we have that much time.
Yeah, you do not. So to clarify, Abe, are you having Mako steer you into the wind, so toward the storm?
Away from the, no. The opposite direction.
Okay, so with the wind, away from the storm.
With the wind.
All right.
That is correct.
Cool. All right. So you point the ship south to follow the prevailing winds. Bring in the sails. The storm is clearly catching up to you, so it is very clear that you are not going to be able to outrun it.
I'm going to go up to the Mako because she's got sailing lore like
Yes.
as a skill, right?
Correct.
All right, I'm gonna go up to her. Like, do you think our chances are better if we go higher or lower into the sea?
Do you want to roll sailing lore?
Sure, I'll do that. I got a 17, which is bad, but
could be worse. All right, so obviously flying ships are not exactly commonplace, so your sailing lore is of somewhat limited use. But from what you can think of, there's a bit of a trade-off. If you go lower down into the ocean, you will be more protected from the wind. You're less likely to get struck by lightning. And you are, more stable basically because the wind isn't just blowing you around. You at least are in the water, which will give you some amount of resistance. Downside is being in the water. Now you have to deal with waves. Your boat is not huge. It's not tiny, but it is not huge, and you don't know how big the waves coming at you are going to be. Out in the open ocean, it can be pretty widely varied because when you have the deep ocean, it's not like at the shore where like even fairly small amounts of water moving turn into waves as they approach shallower areas, and that momentum is kind of like pushed upward. Which is like not a very don't bring that to like a physicist and say that's how it actually works. I'm talking in very wide generalities here. But then in the open ocean, because the water is so deep, it's only the top layer that actually is like moving and making waves. So you can have a lot of water being moved, and something like a tsunami would be barely noticeable potentially out in the open ocean, but then as it approaches land, it gets bigger, right? So really varied how big the waves could be, and you don't know until the storm gets closer what it's going to be like. Looking below you right now, water looks choppy, but not awful. It's not like, 20-foot waves or anything. On the other hand, if you were to fly higher, you could potentially get above the waves and not need to worry about that. But then you are more at the mercy of the wind and the storm itself. In addition, you still have full batteries because you haven't started your nighttime sailing yet. Your batteries are capable, if you use them fully, so all 12 charges, of keeping you about 5 feet above the water all night. But if you fly higher than that, you are starting to reduce your time. So if you go at 10 feet above the water to avoid waves, you only have 6 hours of being able to do that before you're down in the water regardless.
That's a lot of information.
Yeah, that was a lot of talking. Hopefully it at least answered some of your questions, though.
Yeah.
So basically, trade-off. You can go above the water, but then you have to deal with wind more, and eventually you'll run out of battery. Depending on how long the storm lasts, you could end up back down in the water regardless, or you can go down in the water now, save your battery for later, but you are definitely more at the mercy of the waves.
All right. Here's my thought. I say we go down into the water, turn into the storm. That way the waves aren't trying to push us over. So I think it would be better. Well, do we have a prow of our ship? Like, I'm trying to picture it, right?
Do you want the picture?
Yes, please.
All right, well, here is the token, and I will pull up the full picture. I think it's already in here somewhere. Yeah, here it is. Don't do that. Take the... Nope, it's the wrong thing. There. That's what your ship looks like, roughly.
Oh, so like that tiny bit at the bottom, is
so the tiny bit at the bottom is your detachable boat.
Okay.
The part at the top is the actual boat, and then the part toward the right is the front of your boat, while toward the back is the rear. Or toward the left is the rear. And when you actually are in the water, the detachable boat goes completely submerged. And then the water line would be like 3/4 of the way up that pink crystal on your hull.
How firmly attached is the detachable boat?
Pretty firmly. Like
the storm is coming from. Whoops.
The storm is coming from the north and is moving south.
And we want to go
East.
Just east, straight due east.
Yes.
Oh. All right. All right. You can tell me what you think of this. But my impulse is to get lower into the water, face the storm so we cut through the waves, and try and ride it out. Because I don't know how long this storm is going to last. And I worry that with the violent winds, our ship will be, I don't know how strong these crystals are, and I don't want to test them. I'm worried that they might, we might be smashed into the sea and broken apart. I was talking to Mako, by the way.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
No, you're okay.
I'm sorry. I got hit with like a wave of exhaustion.
Hey, it happened.
Hashtag pregnant life. So what are you suggesting that we do? That we head into the storm?
Yeah, we go into the water and then face the storm, so that the ship cuts through the waves as they come. So I'm worried that if we stay 5 to 15 feet off the ground, we'll end up being smashed into the water by a downward draft, and the ship would break up. That's my concern.
I feel like I agree.
All right.
And plus, everything on the map is like north of us, and we keep drifting south. So I don't really want to head south.
Well, that's because we have been to those places that are north of us on the map, so we know that the Isle of Ice and Fire isn't there.
Oh. Even still.
Well, I guess we haven't, but
I don't want to like drift to the edge of the world over here.
And just fall off the side.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so you bring the boat down.
Yes.
Point it north and get ready to weather the storm. And you do not have long to wait. The storm comes rushing in around you with howling gales and thunder and lightning, and you find yourselves in, large 10 to 20 foot swells, navigating the waves. Let's get and this one you can roll, Molly. Let's get a sailing lore for trying to navigate this storm.
As a captain, can I inspire? Because I know that was one of my roles in combat.
You can attempt to help with the roll like any other skill roll, but no, you can't use your combat roll right now.
I think I should use my birthday hero point. I just rolled and I got a crappy roll.
Oh, LOL.
Sounds good. So roll twice and you take the better.
Okay. Okay, I got a 31 and a 30. So I get a 31.
Nice. All right, so you are surprising yourself, even as this is your first time, dealing with a storm in the boat. You are kind of like, after a first few waves, you're getting a feel for how to ride the peaks and the troughs to minimize the danger to the ship as much as possible, and trying to steer around what waves you can avoid as well. And you're quite successful. The storm rages on for hours. You guys don't even know how long. At some point, you're fairly certain that it should be daytime by now, but the clouds are so thick that you can't even tell. It might as well still be nighttime. And all hands are required on deck the entirety of the time. So everyone, please give me a fortitude save. As you are forced to work through the night.
I got a 25.
24.
Nice, everyone rolling really well. Delphine got a 30. Then do you need me to roll for you, Anna? I'll take that as a yes.
Nah, it's loading. I just had to unmute myself.
Okay.
Uh, 23.
All right. So all of you are starting to feel the exhaustion, certainly of both the difficult physical labor, but then also the lack of sleep. But the storm continues to rage on unabated for hours more. You're starting to lose track of time as you're stuck in this life or death struggle. Everyone, please give me a reflex save.
Oof. 13. See, this is what I'm talking about.
I got a 33.
Dang.
I'm gonna use a hero point.
Oh, wait, I have one of those. I'm also going to use a hero point.
I just rolled for
Slightly
Jason because
better.
he had to step away, and he got
28.
Nice.
The real
I got a-
Midnight was begging for dinner. Oh, that's not even what he wanted. He came right back.
Little rascal.
I got a 19 after using a hero point.
That's better than 13.
We'll see how much better.
All right.
When you use a hero point, you have to take the new roll, right?
Correct.
Well,
Oh,
I got
no.
a 1, so I got a total of 10.
All
That
right.
always feels bad when you use a hero point and do worse.
It really does.
Yup. I mean, you gave Junior notes, so you can have a second hero point if you want to try again.
I would like to try again. $27. That's better.
Wow, way
Nice.
better.
All right. So, Mano Anui, you got a 19, is that right?
That is correct.
All right. So you're strapped into one of the seats and everything. Properly tied down to the loops to try and keep yourself safe. When suddenly Burnbright calls out from the crow's nest, and he says, "Everybody, brace now! There's a wave coming from the side!" And as soon as he finishes saying that, there's just a deafening thud, and a massive wave crashes from a different angle. It's one that, Mako, you didn't see and couldn't adjust for, into the side of your ship. And Mano Anui, you find yourself flung overboard, seat and all. And you are now sinking in the ocean. And you are tangled up in the ropes that should theoretically have been saving your life.
Yeah, I was gonna
Channel
say,
your
if I'm
inner
still,
jellyfish.
tied. I'm still tied to the chair, and the
Yes.
chair's in this ocean. Okay.
It would have
So
been better
you're
to be thrown free.
Legitimately, yeah, because then at least you could have had a chance of trying to swim. Right now, you are tied to things that are actively pulling you under the water. And you're also tangled in those ropes, so you can't even get your hands free.
Could I cast Ray of Frost?
No. I believe that Ray of Frost requires a semantic component.
Verbal.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
So yes, you have to have your hands free to be able to cast if there is a semantic component to a spell.
Yeah. Oh, slashing gust.
Also, you're under the water, so verbal is also kind of an issue right now.
I could cast Grease.
But what you can do is you can try to untangle yourself. That would probably be a wise use of your time.
Can I use my nails to cut through?
You can try. So you can either roll me. Is it athletics or acrobatics?
I hope it's athletics.
Didn't we say athletics was more like
yes.
strength based?
Well, grappling is in athletics, so trying to break out of something like that would also be athletics.
Nice.
So yeah, so you can roll athletics if you want to try and get yourself free from the ropes. And as part of that, I'll say you can have a +2 bonus because of your sharp nails.
Nice. All right. I got a 27.
All right. So you start cutting through the ropes and trying to pull yourself free. You are being pulled down. It's already it's pitch black as it is because the clouds, if it is daytime, even the clouds are blocking all light. It may be nighttime. It could be the next night. You have no clue at this point. But yeah, so it's just pitch black. You don't even have a concept of which direction is up. And other than you can feel the water continuing to rush around you, and you assume that you were being pulled down. So yeah, you aren't able to free yourself, but you are able to cut away the ropes around one of your hands and get one hand free. Let's see, I think it's fortitude? Yes, fortitude. Let's see how you're doing on the drowning front.
LOL. Fortitude. So that is a 18.
All right. You were able to get like a half a breath before you went into the water. But yeah, definitely not in a good situation air-wise. So yeah, you're continuing to struggle though, I imagine. So if you want to give another athletics check, try to get the other hand free.
So that
if only you weren't if only you hadn't designed these chairs so well to keep you in them.
25.
All right. So you are able to get the other hand free. And begin to desperately drag at the ropes around your legs, trying to free yourself completely as you are sinking deeper and deeper. You are eventually able to get yourself completely free, and you are now floating with no concept of what direction is up. You don't know how deep in the water. Pitch blackness all around you. What do you do?
Can we be can Delphine do something? Isn't this her shit?
Well, right now we're not on the boat. We can cut back to the boat eventually. So y'all will have a chance to do things.
Well, I don't think I can cast any spells because I think they all require me to say something. At the moment, I am sort of underwater. I can cast Wall of Wind, which apparently is not a somatic spell. I'm sorry, a verbal spell. That seems wrong, but it doesn't actually say that on here. That's weird. Anyway, but I don't think that'd help.
No, Wall of Wind probably not going to help in your current situation.
I think that's about the only thing. I can tell if the water's lying to me. The
water is The surface is that way, points downward.
Oh well, there's no, and to be, there's no, what's the word I'm looking for? There's no constant direction that I'm floating.
Is that what you're doing? You are taking the time to like try to figure that out?
I'm trying to feel if like I'm naturally going a consistent direction. I'm gonna take about like 5 seconds to see if my body's like constantly going one direction, or if I'm just like going like being whipped this way and that and down and up and all that.
Given your body fat percentage, probably not.
What about my air?
I don't think you have about a half a breath of air. So you take that time, trying to stay calm, and unfortunately it does not give you any indication. You cannot tell which way is up, and you start to, this panic begins to well up inside of you as you are very much running out of air at this point, and you realize this may be it for you.
If I roll survival, I survive.
No, that's not how survival works.
If I roll will, can I will myself not to die?
You try that. It doesn't work very well.
Well,
so you probably strike out in just like a direction.
Yeah, I'm just gonna pick a direction. I'm gonna start swimming.
All right. And you go for a few moments, and unfortunately there is no indication. You can't even tell if you're moving. It is pure blackness around you. You are, your lungs are beginning to burn with the exertion of holding your breath. And, if it wasn't already pitch black, the world around you would be starting to go dark.
I'm going to start to let out a little bit of air, because what starts the burning feeling in your blood is the carbon dioxide buildup. So I'm going to start letting some air out.
All right. Unfortunately, it's like dark, so you can't even tell which way the bubbles are going.
I don't even have light prepared. I don't know why.
You're just overconfident.
Anyway.
Just overconfident. You were just starting to give up. When you see a flash of light moving toward you, and you see what must be some sort of angelic figure coming in your direction rapidly, and it approaches you, grabs a hold of your face, and locks lips with you.
Oh,
and you at this point, confused, basically dead. Your ability to hold your breath is just gone. At this point, if the figure wasn't there, you would have just probably breathed seawater, as you cannot hold your breath any longer. And you feel her, pushing through the locked lips. Something down, through your windpipe, and it's wet. It's like water, and you expect to, start choking, and you think, surely this is it for you. But instead, somehow, you find yourself breathing that water and, gasping it in. And you can feel your body seems strange. You feel a sensation on your feet and your hands. And in the pale light given off by this figure, you look at your hands and you can see that they're growing webbed. And finally, releasing the embrace and pulling her face away from you, you see Dolphine in front of you. And strangely, from the waist up, she looks like what you're expecting. But from the waist down, she has a beautiful shimmering set of scales across a fish's tail. Her scales are green and purple. and they are slightly luminescent, glowing with their own light.
Fish people. I should have known. At this point, I think so. I can actually see as well now.
A little bit. There is dim light that Dolphine is giving off.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna stay close to Dolphine. Can I breathe now?
Yes, you find yourself able to breathe the water around you.
Oh, wow.
And Dolphine grabs your hand, and strangely, because you're underwater, she actually talks, and she says, "Quickly, we need to get back to the boat." And
I don't think I'm in.
Go ahead.
I don't think I'm in any sort of state of mind to ask questions or anything. I'm gonna follow her. But yeah, sounds good.
All right, so she swims rapidly in a direction, and you find yourself very, very well acclimated, or that's not quite the word I'm looking for. You find yourself very well equipped now for being in the water. So the webs that were growing on your hands and feet give you, basically mechanically, they give you a swim speed equal to your land speed. But even with that, she seems to be a much more powerful swimmer than you. So you are definitely helping your movement along, but she is pulling you by the hand rapidly. And you finally, after a few seconds, start to see occasional flashes of light above you. You presume from the lightning of the storm. And then after a few tense moments more, you come, exploding onto the surface of the water, and you can see the ship, probably 20, 30 feet away from you, silhouetted by a lightning strike. Cutting back to the boat. So we have the wave crash in. Most people are thankfully secured to the boat. But you do hear there's a wave, so you don't even hear a splash. But I guess everyone give me perception to see whether or not you even see Monoanui go overboard.
You even notice Monoanui just getting yeeted.
Exactly. All right, Burnbright did not.
$28.
Nice. All right, Dolphin
What are we
got
supposed to be rolling? I'm sorry.
Perception.
Okay.
And Dolphin got a 25, so she does see it, as does Junior.
I got a 14.
All right,
you
are
sea spray in my
you
eyes.
are way too busy keeping the ship from rolling over.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Like you just got T-boned by a wave. All right, 18. So Ip doesn't see it either. So Junior, you see the Monoanui and the entire seat that she was tied up into go flying overboard.
I'm going to look over the side to see if I can see anything.
All right, you look over the side, and Dolphin, you see water. There's nothing. You don't even see like a splash mark because the water is already so churned up you wouldn't be able to see anything. Other than like a few bits of debris and stuff that got knocked off of the boat floating in the water.
Gonna start climbing over the edge.
Yeah, and Dolphin sees it as well, and she shouts, "Man overboard!" And just no hesitation, you see her sprint over to the side of the ship and just dolphin dive off the side. So, Junior, are you gonna you keep going, get back on the boat? What are you doing?
I'm probably gonna keep going. He's still attached though, with the rope.
So you're still tied to it. I mean, that's a good way to accidentally keel haul yourself.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. It's I think he's gonna untie the rope.
Okay.
Jump in.
All right, so you jump in the water. I will need athletics for you to try and swim in the stormy ocean.
Oh, dang. 16.
All right, you try, and immediately a wave, like a small wave, not like the last one, slams you back into the side of the boat, and the best you can do is like hold on for dear life, not to get dragged under the boat. But as you're doing that, what seemed like, an interminable distance, period of time for Manawanui, is really only seconds. When you see a large splash off to the side of the boat, and you can see Dolphine holding on to Manawanui, and they rapidly come swimming over to the boat. And Dolphine kind of pushes Manawanui up the side and helps her on. And then she reaches out to you, Junior, and says, "Here, help pull me back on board."
Junior does that.
All right, so you pull her back on board, and you still spluttering and coughing a little bit. The Dolphine, after you surfaced, Manawanui, you couldn't breathe again. You actually were not able to breathe air, but she kind of touched you, and the effects faded as you were swimming back to the boat. So at this point, you're back to breathing air. So you're kind of coughing and spluttering a little bit, and getting your wits about yourself on the boat. And everyone sees Akalupu pulling Dolphine on board as well, and everyone can see that from the waist down she is covered in scales and has a tail. And that is we are going to wrap up for today.
The mystery is solved.
Da da da. All right.
Oh, that's why she was like, it's not an island where I live.
Yup.
That makes sense.
And also, everyone was like, "What is she gonna do when we get there? Just swim home?" Yes, that was literally what she was gonna do when she got close to her city. Is just swim home.
That's hilarious.
We'll go ahead and wrap up there. So let's see. What did Mako learn?
That she's a damn good boat driver.
That's
under
true.
pressure.
Very true.
What's that called? Boat driver's not the word.
Helmsman? Helmsman?
Okay.
Absolutely. All right. How about
conductor?
A boat conductor? I like it. All right. What about Jason? What did Ip learn?
Ip learned that praying to the Great Mother really is correct, because otherwise she will smite you with tears of blood and giant storms.
Maybe. It's hard to say. Maybe this is like a Jonah situation. You just need to throw Manawanui overboard and the storm will just immediately stop.
Wow. I am not gonna lie. When he got washed overboard, I was half expecting you to say, "And now we cut back to the top, and the storm suddenly disappears."
That would be funny. So what about Junior? What did he learn?
Junior learned that he takes after his dad in the fact that for some reason, even though he lives surrounded by the ocean, swimming is just not their thing.
I thought Akalupu Senior was good at swimming. Didn't he have the underwater marauder and all that stuff going on?
But every single time I rolled in the water, I had the worst rolls ever.
Well, to be fair, at one point you tried to swim up a waterfall.
Yes, but like, yeah. According to the stats I had given them, they should be good at it. According to the dice, they suck at the water.
Fair enough. All right, and I saw we lost Abe.
Here though.
I'm here.
Okay, cool. What did Mono Anui learn?
Mono Anui learned. Mono Anui.
Mono Anui learned that she kissed a girl and she liked it.
That keeps being the lesson.
Right. First Mako, now Mono Anui.
I mean, Mono Anui does have an excuse though.
Well, not dying. Yeah.
Well, and also, Mono Anui was a dude.
Oh, I guess you're not wrong.
Very true.
A very confused person. Don't worry. Don't question it. Don't let me do it. Don't.
Alrighty. Well, thanks everyone for joining me. I hope you all had a great game, and I'll see you all at the next one. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.